offices or Better Business Outreach Center. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have a positive outcome as opposed to going at it alone and not being lender ready.
Larry, we have some peanut gallery comments over here.
Oh, Eric, you have an opinion about finances?
And then I got.
Oh.
Yeah.
You go
You'll
first.
be- Oh, yeah. So, I think they should put a caveat on it, because if you're a business under 3 years or 2 years, you're not gonna get support. So, and I was in that bucket, so I never received funding for my business from a, SBA lender, or, you know how a lot of people receive the PPP and the EIDL support. I was told I was growing too fast, so I wasn't eligible for it. So as a small business, I had to be creative and survive during COVID because of the extensive growth that we had. So I've never, you know, as of yet, we have not, had a lender or SBA lender to support us as a business, so I've done it all on my own, so I say that to some of you who in the audience may, have that type of, situation that, you know, you're dealing with. And, I hate to say the word red line, but I was actually told, because I was a female, that they didn't wanna help me. So sometimes you have people in those spaces and those jobs who don't wanna help you because you're a woman business owner. And a lot of you are frowning, but I had a banker to tell me that. He said, Erica, I should have funded you, but, we singled you out because you was a female. And I thought I was special, and I was like, maybe it was because I was a minority female. And I was in a meeting with, some of my colleagues who, I was the only minority in the room, and the leader of the group that I attend, she said, Erica, I want you to share your story. So I shared my story with my colleagues in the room. There's like 20 of them in the room, 21 other women, business owners in the room. And she said, tell them what you're experiencing with banking. And I shared it with them. And 4 of the women in the room said, I'm having the same problem with that same lender. And I'm thinking, well, I'm no longer special, because they're not black. They're not a minority company, and they're having the same issue. So I just want to make sure that everybody understand that this issue still exists. You know, women companies are at a minority. We are really being scrutinized and treated differently than our counterparts, because the counterparts that I had that went to the same banker, they had less contracts than I had, they had less revenue than I had, they had very poor credit scores, and they didn't have any revenue, period, that would justify the amount of money that they were awarded. But they were given financials and line of credits and credit cards, you name it. Everything was thrown at them, and I'm looking at them going, wow, this is interesting. They was like, Erica, what happened to you? You didn't get it? And I was like, no. And the guy told me, it's because I was female.
I'm afraid that it is not just an anecdote,
Yeah.
that she's not
All the data.
among the few.
Yeah.
So the data, that would be another thing that IBM is known for, is the research and analytics that we do. And there happens to be a study right now that, well, we've got things released already that show that veterans of color, and women veterans in particular, are faring less favorably in their access to capital pursuits. However, there are some things that are unique to all veterans that might affect our credit scores, which would be frequent moves. You might change your bank account. You don't have a relationship. You're new to the community. There is something to it. And then other parts of it are that we really need to get smarter that, and SBA helps with this. There are certain kinds of lenders that want to work with the type of business you are. Eric is right that if you are thinking that there is a bank that is hungry to give startup capital, you're mistaken. So it does take a few years, and that is something that even the study that Larry referenced that we did with the National Reserve, the Federal Reserve, we were trying to make the case that perhaps there's something called the Community Reinvestment Act. It would allow banks to take a little more risk because they want to do business with those who are underserved. It hasn't crossed the finish line, but it is something that may get some traction. And as well, the Government Accountability Office, GAO, is currently looking at the access and equity within the programs that SBA offers for lending. So I think there will be more in the public space soon about access to capital. On one small bright light though, I would love to say that the Community Development Financial Institutions, CDFIs, that Larry mentioned, those are more tailored to the amount of capital that over half of veterans need. They can do up to $250,000, and they have terms that would be better. That's in SBA's micro lending program, or I'm saying it's a community advantage. Right, so take a look, if you've never heard of that acronym, CDFI, Charlie Delta Foxtrot India, it is a place that might be a better place to start. And one more piece of trivia, has anyone heard of MRIDL, Military Reservist Economic Injury Disaster Loan? This is one more thing that is not used very much, but luckily deployments are down, but if you know of a business owner who either has an essential employee who gets deployed, or they themselves are the business owner and they deploy, the SBA has a loan program for that to give working capital so that you can try and hire and help while that person is absent from the business. So the SBA really is incredible. Those things that Erica and I shared aren't necessarily to like tear the whole house down, but to give you a realistic picture that there's more to be done. We're on the case.
Thank you for sharing that, Gwen. Appreciate it. Thank you, Erica, for sharing that as well. That's real life, so it's important to share. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just for the data point, this doesn't necessarily speak to banking, but in 2021, companies founded solely by women garnered 2.4% of the total capital invested in venture-backed startups in the U.S. That's the company I work for. That's what we're facing. That's what we're facing right now. In fact, that's why my boss hired me, so I could go to the pitches with her.
Wow. Yeah, the data's there. The data's there. Yeah, those numbers don't lie. I wanted to just take a minute, if we could bring up just the VIP slides, just to kind of give you an idea. We've heard VIP. It's not the VA's veteran portal, industry portal. It stands for Veteran Institute for Procurement. I don't know if I can there. So just to give you some ideas on some of the eligibility. You heard Erica mention some of the benefits she thought from it. We are an SBA resource partner. I work closely with Larry and his team at OVBD. We have a program for veteran-owned small businesses and service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses starting as early as 1 year in business. So, and then you can scale from there. As I mentioned, Erica came in at Grow. She's gone to Advance. She's coming to Aerospace. I see a few familiar faces here. Are there any other VIP grads in the room? Can you stand up so folks can come find you and ask questions? Thank you.
That's great.
Great. So these are folks you can ask and say, would you go again? Would you do it? But this is a great way for you to learn how to enter and scale. VIP Start is for those not starting a business, necessarily. You could be in business 10 years but never sold to the federal government. We're going to put you through VIP Start. It's another whole language. The FAR is the guidebook, and a lot of what we focus on in those 3 days in the classroom is business operations, mitigating risk to yourself, your teaming partner, and to your customer. Because business mistakes are expensive, especially for small and oftentimes fatal. So we focus on all the risk areas. You're in a classroom with 49 other CEOs that are veteran-owned or service-disabled veteran-owned businesses. You pick up a network of resources from the government contracting community. Over those 3 days, we'll have 38 instructors that give 1 hour briefings on various topics. Again, mostly focused on operation, business controls, but you'll also have topics on capture, business development, marketing, accounting, a lot of accounting, finance, access to capital, and so forth. But you walk away with a network of 49 other CEOs. It's a nationwide program, easy online application, and it's on a first come, first serve nationwide. So in any one class, you might have 14, 18 different states that are represented in the room, which is very advantageous also as a small business because oftentimes, the government's big, the Army's big. They have operations across the CONUS and OCONUS, and you can see we have VIP International up there as well. So oftentimes, if the customer loves you, they want more of you, and if you can't support them, they still need the work. The mission has to take place, and they'll just go do someone else if you can't do it. So VIP International is there for those that want to support the customer, OCONUS as well as commercial. And then VIP Aerospace is sector specific. We talked about certifications, Erica, and you're going to pick up a few more certifications in aerospace. Very highly, requirement lot of requirements in aerospace, but also it's a growing market, so it's one we want to be able to access. So that's a little bit about Veteran Institute for Procurement. It's offered at no cost to veterans nationwide on a first come, first served basis. And I guess the best part, I probably should make sure we can make it to, is that it works. Why go? Well, because it works. Yes, sir.
Can I give you a plug? Just as a recipient of going through VIP Grow in Advance. I just recently signed up for, as earlier you heard Barbara say that I'm a continuous learner, so I am. So as a CEO, I've been going through this program where it's for emerging leaders, and they actually help you to fine tune yourself as a CEO. Well, I signed up for the class, and I was actually trying to figure out how to unregistered, like completely get out of it because of everything I learned in VIP. It, in 3 days, they're trying to teach me in like 6 months, and it's like, oh my God, I already know this, what am I gonna do? Because the information that you receive doing VIP, it's like very condensed, but it's very precise, and sometimes you don't think you've learned it, but because of the speed of it, but you really do. And so for me, if I could unenroll myself from the class I'm in now, I would, because it's not a waste of time. It's just that I don't need the information because I've already surpassed it. The contacts are great, but the content of the class is not helping me at all, and I would hate to waste someone else's opportunity to be able to be in it, but I can't disenroll myself at all. But VIP, if you are a veteran and you haven't gone through it, I would challenge you to go through the sessions because they really do help. But more importantly, it's the connections that you receive out of the training that you use for a lifetime. Like I have partners that are in the room today from VIP that we are still going after contracts together. So that's something that you might want to consider as well.
Well, thank you, Eric. I appreciate that plug, and I encourage you all to apply. I know our time is up, and I want to thank you for your time and joining us today. We'll stick around, but please join me in thanking our incredible panel here.
Great information. I hope you're all paying attention, and I hope that you really look into VIP. It is a great program.
Thank you.
So we've got a short break, and then the last panel will be the Associate Director of Audience. Definitely want to start.
Yeah,
While I was doing one I saw Tony. Great job, goodness. How are you?
Of course you are. It is so great to meet you.